in other episodes I kept talking about cooking seasonally, right? And when you go to the market, when I go to the market, if I'm having people over for dinner, I think to myself, what'll I cook? Dunno. I go to the markets and I say, oh gee, that looks good, or that looks good, and then I start formulating what I'm going to cook, because my whole idea is everything fresh, right? Fresh, beautiful Roma tomatoes, fresh, basil, fresh. Right, so what I'm going to do at first, I'm going to slice up, I've already washed it, some eggplant, and that sort of thickness, right? And I'm going to put them on the griddle wet. Just a dusting of olive oil, not too much. Like so, right? Right, so I'm just going to lay the eggplant on the griddle. Like so. And once they start getting marks on them and soften up, we'll go from there. But first, and that's one dish, right? And this is going to be another, okay?
Oh, we're getting two.
We're getting two today. So I'm cutting up freshly bought sourdough bread, which I'm going to toast. Right, so now that that's toasting, I'm going to add lots of basil in this thing.
Surprise, surprise.
Oh, I love basil. I just love it.
And salt.
You and the salt, stop it. Your arteries are going to be fine, don't worry about it. So lots and lots and lots and lots of basil. So tomatoes. Not that it's going to make any difference because bread's going to go in it anyway. So, tomatoes, and these are Roma tomatoes, just coming into season now. And I went to the market a few days ago, and I don't know why tomatoes are still expensive. Number one, that they grow them all year round, but the ones they grow all year round are really tasteless. You almost have to put a bit of sugar on the tomatoes to sweeten them up because they're so untasty and acidy.
I can hear that eggplant frying away in the background.
Yep. with that, I'm going to put a little bit of oil. Now, in one of my other episodes I said, now this has got a very tight snout. What I meant was spout, not snout. But that's okay. See, when the eggplant's got nice ribs on it from the griddle, turn them around. Like so. That's going to take a little while. So now with this, going back to this salad, onion. Don't like that onion. You can cut this out.
Don't think I won't.
So, onion. Now, because this is going to be raw in the
That's the slowest toaster.
huh?
That's the slowest toaster.
Well, yeah, that's the third one I've got. That one's not too bad considering the last two I had. In 6 months, I think I went through 3 toasters. I kept taking them back as they took too long to do anything. Anyway, so, right. So now, onion in the tomato. 3 chilies, because we like it hot. Chilies. So this is why you have to cut them a little bit thick, because you don't want to have them too thin. At this stage, I'm going to put just a little salt. Maybe, excuse me, another bit of oil. And that's it. So leave that a little bit longer, and that'll be great. So in another little concanatore, some basil, roughly chopped. Grated garlic. Olio di oliva. Bit of chili flakes. So,
now sometimes you use chili flakes, sometimes you use real
yeah,
chili.
it all depends.
Yeah.
It all depends.
On what?
On I guess, the mood.
Oh, okay.
And so once you put this on the eggplant, so pretty nice. Now I put a little bit of salt on that, but not that much. So I'll just do another salt there. So now, if you're having people over for dinner, or for lunch, this is still quite hot. It doesn't have to be hot, so it can actually be cold. Sprinkle all that yummy goodness over it.
Ladies who lunch.
Well, that's something you've never said. As we said prior, Mark is not a cook, he's an eater. So,
I am a cook. You just
Yeah,
you just had trouble with my food.
you know, you are a good cook when you've got your mind to it.
When I follow a recipe.
Well, see, the whole point is you shouldn't need to follow a recipe.
I don't.
You know, as I kept saying, you put the good things in, the tastes come out. Okay, so that's one. Now you can do a whole platter of that, right? So, bread is done. What's that doing out? It's almost sacrilege to waste any basil. So, cut the bread into croutons. And this is really beautiful sourdough bread, freshly baked this morning. Got to say, not by me, but anyhow. Yeah. Now, if you're serving this up for lunch and you're doing it beforehand, the tomato, the salt, tomato and oil with all that can stay, doesn't matter how long, an hour and a half, 20 minutes, doesn't matter.
But the longer the better?
No, not so much the longer the better, just so it macerates. You know the story maceration now?
I do.
So, oil. And lots of it. This is extra virgin olive oil. It does not do you any harm at all. So, in fact, it helps loosen up your joints.
And that's not all.
And that's not all. So, you mix that up, like so.
Yeah, say it.
Right.
Mixolando.
Miscolando, that's right. So, now, as I said before, you can leave that like that and let that macerate, or you can use it straight away. Doesn't really matter. So, we're going to use it almost straight away. So, then I put all the croutons in. Right. So, because it's sourdough bread, it's quite hard. So when you put it in, it'll be a little bit hard, but as it goes on and a little bit of time passes, you don't have to put it on the table straight away. The croutons absorb all the beautiful oil, salt, and the chili. The flavour of the chili comes through, and it's got to tell you, as part of a lunch table, that is amazing, right? And as part of your salad. So that. Now, when we did the eggplants the other day, I showed you how to do the part of the charcuterie board, and I'm not going to do too much because how much can a koala bear? So there, that'll do. And what I'm going to do there is go to my frigorifero. Grab some of my eggplant that I showed you how to make.
That I couldn't.
That you couldn't, exactly. And just lay that on the crusty bread.
Right behind the great big jar of dried chili.
Sorry?
Move the chili.
Right. Happy? So, that's that. Clean him up the plate. And, oh,
lose the Kleenex.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. There. Now, that took me 20 minutes to do. The eggplant, the tomato with the croutons, the eggplant that I showed you how to do a couple of episodes ago. And then, my friends, is that. Very easy, very yummy, cut.
Now say something interesting.
Well, something interesting is, you know, I've got to say, before we close, that this whole reasons for my doing this is because my trusty cameraman Mark, because I was going to do some cooking classes a while ago, and then, you know, I just thought, no, forget it. So then he said, why don't you do it on YouTube? And for a laugh...
My fault.
Yeah, probably your fault. I could have coerced you into it, but anyway, this is where we ended up. So, but the thing that I'm getting at is, you know, people are terrified, like my cameraman, when he has people over for dinner. Well, he goes into convulsions for a week before the dinner.
Have it catered.
Well, yes, you can have it catered, but it's not the same. So, the whole point is, it's easy. Don't be afraid. I went to a dinner party with a very close friend of mine once, years ago, and she was one of these people that gets very nervous about having people over. So, by the time we got to the main course, we had to put her to bed. She worked herself up into such a dither that, and it's all because people are frightened. Don't be frightened, just do it. And I know it's easier said than done, but, if you're into food, if you're into putting flavours together, that's the whole part of the whole deal. Now, the eggplant that I did that in 3 minutes. That took, 10 minutes with the grilling and putting it together took no time. This took 3 minutes to put together. The longest thing that took was the bread in the griller, or in the toaster. So, but what I'm saying, it's easy. Look at this, it looks fantastic, right? So, don't be frightened of cooking, If the people that you invite to your place, they're your friends. If something doesn't work out, don't worry about it. But, as I keep saying, if you put the good things in, the flavour comes out. And Mark asked me a while ago, why do I not taste anything? Now, I didn't taste any of these because I didn't have to, because I put good olive oil, onion, chilli, beautiful basil, mixed it all up, and it is just fantastic. That you don't have to worry about too much because you've already done it before. This took 5 minutes to do. End of story. My closing subject would be, don't be frightened to be out there and cook. Don't be frightened. Cut. Close. That's it.